back to an all-new episode of R&D Garage. I want to welcome all my new subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for commenting, liking, and sharing my videos. And of course, everybody who's been there since the beginning, thank you so much. And if you've been watching my videos and haven't subscribed, it's super easy. Just hit that red button, subscribe button, and you're good to go. Okay. We are finally getting our hands dirty today, and I am so excited about it because we're working on my favorite car in the whole wide world, Blackberry, 2005 Honda S2000. Oh my gosh, everybody who knows me knows I'm like obsessed with this freaking car. Well, I noticed the alternator, that was not the alternator, that was actually Polly. But I had noticed that the alternator on her was sounding kind of janky. So that is what we're doing today. We're changing her out and putting in a brand new one. Stay tuned. Okay, first step, disconnect the battery. 10mm socket, done. And by the way, I know my car is extremely filthy. I drove through a mud puddle several times on set a couple weeks ago, and I haven't bothered to clean her yet. Sorry. Okay, so here's the alternator down here. So you'll notice that there's not quite enough room just to be able to, get it out, take it out, that kind of thing. So we're gonna need to take out some of this stuff right here. Let's get to it. Okay, so step one, we're actually gonna take off the airbox lid. And there are 6 snaps, and these are totally simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 6. And it should just lift right off. Just like that. Yay. Okay, now we're gonna get the air filter and elbow out. So looking at my air filter, yes, I know it's extremely filthy and we will be changing that pretty soon. So anyway, to get to the rest of it here, we got a hose clamp we gotta take off or slide down. We got a hose clamp right here, but this is kind of cool. I'm gonna show you. And this, I already actually took it out once, but we're just gonna lift this up and go like that. And then there's one more hose clamp right here and we should be able to lift it out. So let's go ahead and get her done. Okay, so I'm gonna take this tool right here, squeeze, walk it down, beautiful. And now I should, and this, perfect. You see the metal is right there. So it's actually a part of the elbow. Now on this side over here, you guys are gonna be like, oh, is it the same thing? No, not quite. So I'm squeezing that and I should be able to pull it right out. So, oops, and make sure you leave the clamp on the other side and walk it down. There we go. Okay, so you notice this actually has the metal protruding from this side. So, but it kind of makes it easy. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead to this guy and I've already got my socket on. So we are going to take it off. Just like that, nice and loose. Would you? Polly is just having a field day with my leg right now. Okay, so we are gonna work this off. Be very careful. It may need to be loosened just a little bit more. So, yeah, it's already pretty loose though. Oh yeah, that's super loose. Okay. There you go. Okay. Oh, bending over the car, my knee is like that. And this should be on a peg in here. Perfect. Oh my gosh, you guys, this was so easy. And it does indeed have a peg that fits in a little socket down there. Okay, let's move on. So at some point, someone had another kind of aftermarket cold air intake in this. So the hosing may be a little bit different than what you find in your S2K. Okay, and I went back, I tried to test fit the alternator, like to see if I could fit it, and it looks like we still need a little bit of room because I don't really want to bang the new alternator into, scratch stuff. So what we're gonna do, there are 3 screws for the bottom of the intake box, or air box, and so we've got one right here, we've got one on the other side, and we've got a hidden one basically down there. And so what I'm gonna do is loosen all these bolts and then take this part off and just kind of like unscrew it all the way. And these bolts are hella long, so we may fast forward this part. But let's get started and then I'll show you what we're gonna do next. Okay, so I'm just gonna break these right now and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, and I have a flashlight. Hey, little boy. just so I can see this one. There we go. Yeah, you want to be mommy's helper? Yeah? I can totally see that. Okay, so sorry, bud. I'm gonna put this over here, go like this, and now I am going to, and I'm gonna try my best not to drop any of these into the engine compartment, which I probably just jinxed myself. Let's see. Okay, beautiful. Even came off with the washer. So that's the first one. So they're long, but they're not like super long. It's been a while. Okay, I'm gonna put this over there. Let's get the next one. And actually, if I put it on the right way, it goes off easier. Okay, perfect. Oh, no. There we go. It's number 2. Okay, let's get that third bolt. So now that it's loose, it's easy to see. There we go. And remember to make your car is cool all the way down, because we kind of got a little bit impatient, and so there are some parts that are still a little bit hot. This does not want to come out. Come on, guy. There we go. Okay, this one is out. I'm going to put it aside, and we still have, my dog is so weird. Okay, let's get this now. So we have, oh, here. So I have my Phillips screwdriver, and now, where did that bolt go? It was, oh, right here. So, okay. And this is very important that I don't drop this screw. There we go, perfect. And that, I'm just gonna go to the side like that. And now we're gonna lift it out. And there's gonna be, oh, I dropped something. I'm not sure what it was. Let's see. Oh yeah, so it's just kind of, I'm gonna have to move some of these hoses. And now we're good. And whatever it was hit the bottom, so that's good. But let's move on. Pick a hand, any hand. Nothing. Clip! So it was just a clip from the airbox that fell. No big deal. And now, as you can see, we have more than enough room to take off the old alternator and put the new one in. Let's do it. Okay, so as long as we're all the way down in here, I looked at the belt and honestly, it looks fine and we probably could keep it. But again, since we've torn all the way down here, might as well just go ahead and change it. So while we're on the subject, if you're like me, you always have your phone handy. And so what I'm gonna do is take a quick picture of the belt and how it's situated, just so in the case that I'm putting it on and I have a brain fart and I'm like, where the heck does this go? Now I have photographic proof. Okay guys, now we're gonna take off that belt. So I found an easy way of doing this. Obviously you don't need a breaker bar for this, but it just makes it a little bit easier. With a 14mm socket, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on like this. And as soon as you bend it down, you can see, you can now take off the belt. And so I'm gonna go ahead and slip it off, just like this, and bam. So now I just kind of leave it in here just a little bit. Yes, perfect. Because sometimes the tensioner, well, usually the tensioner will raise up until it stops by itself. So now I can take off the breaker bar and our belt is off. Yay. Okay guys, time to knock that alternator loose. So the first thing we're gonna do is take off the two 14mm bolts, one right here and one down below. And I was gonna suggest using a breaker bar for both of them, but then I was like, dude, use your Agadaga, especially for the top one. It won't fit, unfortunately, down below, but at least we can get a nice, clean, easy solution for the top bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead first bolt looks like. And it's hot, so I'm gonna put it down. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and take the breaker bar. You're gonna have to move some. There you go. And put it on here. Okay, there we go. And remember, this is like literally right in the way, but remember to hold down the bolt side, and there you go. Actually, do you mind giving me the recoilless hammer? Sometimes it's just a little bit. It would be easier. I know it's better to pull than to push, but I can do it.
I'm holding it.
Oh, okay. Wow. This is the hand of a man that obviously trusts his wife. Okay. Perfect. Okay, and put this down. Whew, it is hot today, guys. Okay, awesome. Now I'm gonna get the regular ratchet. Okay, there we go. Should be enough. Okay, now I should be able to take this out the rest of the way by hand. Yes, this was a big mother. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's move on. Okay, so a couple things. I actually called the alternator new at the beginning of the show. It's actually a rebuilt Denso, but we've had tons of experience with them and they're super duper good and we love them. So by all intents and purposes, it's basically new. Okay, what we just did on the back and what's is seriously hard to film, we just tried, is this 10mm bolt right here, or nut, sorry, that we just took off, and then there's a little squeeze thing, which you guys are used to those. So yeah, okay, now it's ready to come out. Let's do it. Okay, boys. Sorry, I've always wanted to do that. Okay, so a couple things about the old alternator. You guys see all that green crap right here? That is dried coolant from a faulty leaky hose. And it's probably why it got mangled in the first place, because, you know, ugh. Okay, we're gonna try to take it off, or at least, you know, get it started. And we're going to be using a pry bar. So super, super important. Cannot, you know, tell you guys this enough. Make sure that battery is disconnected. You don't want to see your skeleton before your very eyes. Okay, so now we're gonna come in here. I'm gonna put the pry bar in, right in between here, and see if I can get it to lean. Yes, just like that. Okay, and oh man, there is a ton of crusty stuff. Okay, let's see if I can wrangle it out. I may not be able to, but... Oh yeah, no, it's still stuck. We're gonna have to do something else. Okay guys, moving on to plan B. Okay, so I was kind of giving it a test push and ended up almost pushing it out, so I stopped to get the rest on film. And the thing that I want to make clear now is there's all sorts of delicate crap under the hood, so you don't want to bang into stuff. You know, obviously power steering, anything like here. Again, this is slipping right out, and you okay, I'm like super excited, so I'm talking fast. But where was I going with this? Okay, when you push it out and it finally starts to go, you don't want to bang your elbows or your hands into anything. So just be super careful with this, and let's see what happens. Oh, God. Buttons against the car. Come on. So I managed to... Oh, there we go. Ah, there we go. And I banged my elbow. Yay. Okay, well, after a 5-minute cry break, now we're ready to continue. Okay, so I'm gonna pull my pry bar out. Yay. Putting that to the side, and then I'm gonna come around here and pull this sucker out. Man, that hurt. Cars. There we go. And it's out. And it's disgusting. Whew, let's throw the no one in. Okay, guys. So Polly is going to help me here. You know how we do. we have to compare the old alternator to the new alternator. And guess what? They look the same, except this one has a lot of coolant crap on it. So that is literally what made this broken. In layman's terms. So you can see all that crust and crap. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Okay, let's throw the new boy in there. Okay guys, now we're starting to put the alternator back in. So step one, this is a little weird. So if we pan down here, you'll notice there's a little shim, almost like an internal washer. I don't even know if that's a thing, but that's what I'm going with. And so that needs to pop out so it pops back in when the alternator is in. It kind of like holds it into place, like one of the areas that holds it into place. And so to pop that out, I like to use this little trick here. So I'm gonna place that right here, lay it in like that, and then I'm gonna take the crowbar and kind of squeeze like that until it pops out even more. And you can see the edge around. It's looking pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it like that and try to fit this big beast in. And now for a commercial break. Okay, so you guys, remember I actually complained earlier, which was not planned, I really was complaining, that the hood latch was literally in my way of working. And so Dion actually got the bright idea of going, you know what, I think it's time to try out our new tool. So check this out. It's kind of like a hood prop, but you can use it on tailgates. You can use it on hoods like this, where maybe the first one is actually in the way. If your hood is maybe you're scared that the latch won't hold it, that is a good backup. So I gotta say, 2 thumbs up. Go get yourself one. I don't know why my magnetic tool just popped into my head, maybe because it's still my favorite tool. Magnetic tool has nothing to do with what we're doing, but I really like that tool. Okay, so moving on. Commercial break over. Aw, look at the new baby. Okay, let's throw this sucker in. So it'll have a little bit of rustling, but it won't be too bad. If you find yourself really, really struggling, it means the shim down there isn't out far enough. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is slide it in. I'm gonna try to line it up as much as possible, but obviously we'll get to the little bolt stuff after. So right now we're just concentrating on getting it in between the brackets. And again, try not to bang anything, including your hands. My elbow is already not happy. So I'm trying not to do a finger as well. Okay, that is not lined up. So what we're gonna do is tip it, and there we go. And for me, it's a little bit easier trying to line up the bottom. Ah, I just pinched my pinky and lost half my manicure. Awesome. So it's just about, we're gonna give it a little wiggle here. Oh my gosh. And I almost got my hand again. Son of a. Okay, but now it is in. So we're gonna go ahead and put those bolts in, line everything up perfectly, and get me lots of bandages. Okay guys, lower bolt is in. So now I'm gonna go ahead and line up the top. So this should, there we go, be pretty simple. I swear to gosh, like stuff moves slow until your hand is in the way, and then it's like, oh, let's go. So be careful, because I am like just messing up my hands left and right. Okay, so I've tightened the lower bolt just a little bit, just to keep it stayed there. And now we're gonna go ahead and line up, which we oh, there we go. Okay, beautiful. So as you can see, it's really not bad. So I'm screwing those bolts in, screwing the bottom one in. Basically, I'm just gonna tighten them down and torque them. So there we go. Okay, so I've tightened both bolts, and now we're gonna torque them to 33 foot-pounds, not putt-pounds. Okay, and again, it's always a good idea to hold firmly against while you do this. I'm gonna be pulling towards me. And then for the bottom one, it may seem like it tightens and then slightly loosens, and that's basically because of the shim, so don't worry about it. Beautiful. My feet are firmly planted on the ground. I know some of you always worry when I do torquing now. Not twerking, but torquing. Okay, let's do this one where I make more silly, goofy jokes. and I can feel that it's like a little bit squishy. Perfect. Okay guys, we're almost there. Belt time, I believe. Okay, so now that the belt is off and the alternator is back on, now's kind of a good time to check all these pulleys and, you know, stuff like that. And so this tensioner pulley, we noticed, kind of makes a little bit of an odd sound. It's not like, you know, going to die next week, but we will replace that in possible near future. So keep that in mind. The rest of these, well, that's the brand new one. Power steering, that's fine. I believe that's water pump, that's fine. AC seems to be fine. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so moving on to the belts. Pan over here because you know what we have to do. Compare. So here's the old belt. Here, fling, is the new one. Obviously, it's been sitting a while, so it's a little bent. But what we're gonna do is kind of go like that. And I mean, yeah. And obviously the old one is going to be a little bit looser because it's been in the car for so long and maybe got stretched out just a little tiny bit. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Let's put this bad guy on. Okay guys, now it's time to put on the serpentine belt. So I did this once in the FJ. This is going to be a little bit easier, but when I say easier, these are all really fiddle. You know how to finish that phrase. So it's basically like trying to wrestle a snake into a bunch of different parts. So yeah. Okay, and so this, another little hint is you see the smooth pulley? You want the smooth part to be on top of that. So that's kind of a nice little hint there. Anyway, at any rate, let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is snake this down, and I've got my picture here. Basically, the bottom goes under both pulleys at the very bottom. So we've got like that, and then this one snakes under. Oops. First it has to go over, and then under, like that. This one snakes, and again. Does it go like that? It does go like that. Yes, it does. Okay, and then don't worry about this pulley here because we're gonna need the breaker bar basically to help get it on first. Okay, and then I just did something. Oh, okay. Just like this. And then, so now we've got, come on, just like that. And so now we need to get it back on. Like I said, fiddle, yay. Okay, so if you can help me with that, because this is being a bear now. Oh, crap, we forgot. There you go. Okay. Oh. So clearly if you have a couple hands, it's a lot easier. That needs to go all the way down at the bottom again. There we go. Oh, and it, oh my God, it's so bad. It slipped off. I got it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is not the fun part, but, oh yeah. Okay guys, here are some tips. So first put the breaker bar on, but loosely put the belt over it. We're not putting anything on there at first. And so again, start at the bottom, loop it through. Anytime there's a smooth space, make sure that the belt is smooth as well, so the smooth touches smooth. And then if it's ribbed, the ribs should be in it completely. It shouldn't be like one rib off. That's not on right. Okay, and then when we're putting on this, you wanna, like Deanna's doing, pull it just a little bit. If it goes on super simple, the belt is too long. So you are gonna struggle with it just a little bit, not totally, but enough so that it's nice and tight when the tensioner is off, basically, when that's off. So now we got our belt on. Oh. Yay. Okay, so we're getting ready to put everything back together, but there's two things you mustn't forget. At the back of the new alternator, there's that nut that you have to tighten and put back on, and don't forget to put the booty over it. And then there's an electrical connector right here, so don't forget to put that on as well. Okay guys, well, the alternator is all hooked up, the serpentine belt is in. Let's go ahead and put the lower air box back in. So I'm going to set it in place. I've got the screws or the bolts in the box itself that I'll pull out, and the tools in the back pocket. So I'm going to place this in, get this out of the way, and you got to be sure, good, that this is sitting right on top of the screw hole right there, and we're looking pretty good. Okay, let's make sure everything's lined up. There we go. Okay, awesome. And once I start to put the bolts in too, and thankfully they're all the same length, so it doesn't matter which bolt where, but I'll kind of line them up from there too. So this is good. Okay. There we go. Okay, and this one's kind of a bear over here. Let's see, I think I can actually get it though. Ooh, can I use my magnetic tool for this? I can. Okay. And then stick it in. It's never a good day if I can't use my magnetic tool. Okay, so that's in. And now I've got my tools. Okay, make sure it's on. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to tighten just a little bit, and then I'll go back. Put this one here. Okay, so I've got all three started. Now I'm going to finish them up. So basically, I took the ratchet part off, and I'm just going to use the stick end. And then once it's sufficiently tight, I'm going to go back in and wrench them back down. So that one's nice and tight. Excuse me, Paul. Okay, and as long as I'm over here, there's no button. Sometimes we have ratchets with buttons, so I'm always like, is this a button? Is it a button? And it is on. Quit licking my fender. Gross dog. Perfect. We're good to go. Let's put the rest on. Whew. Okay, next step, we're going to connect this little vacuum fitting right here, and then we're going to click that through. But first, I'm going to concentrate on not actually dropping this bolt. So, there we go. Beautiful. There's that. And now we're going to put this little white connector through, and it's kind of old, so it didn't make like a huge click, but that's definitely in. Moving on. Okay guys, time to put back on the air filter and the elbow. Now going into this, I thought it would be easier to start with the peg in the hole and then fit this, but to be honest, it's a lot easier to fit the elbow on and then fit the peg in the hole. So that is exactly what we're gonna do. Okay, and since this hose is still kind of brand new, it's a little bit of a bear to work it on, but as you can see, now it is on. And so I'm going to fit the peg. There we go. Okay, let's get those clamps. Okay, let's clamp these suckers in. So I'm going to start with the easy one right here. So we're still going to need to unclamp a little bit to get it in. Whoops. I swear these are slippery sometimes. There we go. So that's super loose. We're going to stick it in. And remember, just be careful because these are kind of hard to get. That is now in. Now we're moving on, and we're gonna have to squeeze this guy. That was Polly. He just licked my ankle, scared the crap out of me. Okay. And again, be careful. There we go. Oh, crap. That wasn't good. Come. There we go. See, bloopers happen all the time. Why aren't you going in? There you go, you not so nice person. Whew. Okay, that's on. Push this down. We're almost done. Okay, one last hose clamp, and that's this guy here. And remember, he's 10 millimeter. And obviously make sure it's on. There, that's on nice and tight. Okay, let's throw the cover back on. Okay guys, we're almost done. Definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel. Just throw the upper box on. So this should lay just on top, just like that. And then snap, 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 and a snap. Yes, we're good. I was just way too excited. Okay guys, now I'm about to reconnect the battery. So just a simple hint, do the positive side first, because if you accidentally happen to hit a piece of metal with your tool, it won't arc out. So always do the positive side first and then the negative. So we're gonna come in like this, and it doesn't need to be like super tight, just a little bit firm. And so I'll put the booty on top, because I like saying booty, 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 booty. If it fits. Booty! Okay, never mind. So now we're gonna do the negative side. So again, just be careful, take your time, and just make it a little bit firm. Just like that. Beautiful! Yay! Okay, so this is a good reason why I always refer back to the manual just in case. There is a whole procedure once you've disconnected that battery and reconnected it. And basically the procedure, once it's reconnected, is make sure all electrical items, AC, audio, rear window defogger, lights, etc. are off. Start the engine. Hold the engine speed at 3,000 RPM without load, in neutral, obviously, until the radiator fan comes on, or the engine coolant temperature reaches about 176 Fahrenheit. Let the engine idle for about 5 minutes with the throttle fully closed and all electrical items off. And then you are good. You are good to go. So I don't know if like that step is super important. We're gonna do it just in case. But again, this is why manuals come in handy. They're expensive, but you can find a ton of them online, eBay, or even in forums. Sometimes people will be like super kind and be like, I'll just go ahead and post that page for you. So never be afraid to ask. Okay guys, so the plan now is obviously to warm up the car according to the spec there, and then we're just going to drive her for not like long distances, just short distances. Make sure the headlights are bright, make sure everything works, make sure there's no like lights that suddenly pop on the dash like, whoa, you messed up light. Don't want any of those. Yeah, just kind of check, make sure your car's in perfect running order, and then you're good. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching R&D Garage. Go ahead, hit that red subscribe button, you know you want to. We're gonna be doing a lot more with her. We're gonna be obviously going back to the mill and the surface grinder, still super excited about those. But at any rate, you guys, thank you so much again for watching, commenting, and sharing my videos. Have a great week. We'll be back soon.